Alright, guys. So, with regionals coming up and the OTS championships past, I decided to take some time and watch some rulings and watch, some other stuff on rules and all that. Because the game has clearly changed since, my break in 2013, 2012. So, I've been watching a lot of videos on MST TV's channel, Team APS, and the like. And one of the things I came across was actually about shuffling. And he talks about pile shuffling, all the other types of shuffling, and I even saw number file and some of their stuff on shuffling. And I just want to show this is how my deck is right now. I have it set up for deck list writing. So monsters, traps, spells, and then I have my extra deck right here, and I just want to show you how I personally shuffle it. So first thing I do is I just do a couple of pile shuffles, nothing really that intricate, standard fare. Then being as I'm running a 45 card Eldritch Zombie World Turbo, I will do one pile for every 10 cards, rounded up. And if I have an even 10 for my deck, so I'm working on a 60 card build for this at some point, I will be doing 7 piles so that it makes it a little bit more awkward and randomized, and not every pile is even. So I'll just take that pile, this pile, this pile, and now what I do is I just grab this, give it a little bit of a shuffle, let it drop in under above, grab this pile, do the same thing, in, then I'll take this pile or whatever one's bigger, and I'll just feed it on top like that. Do a couple like that, let it fall in, and then I'll do a pile of 3. And I do this between every round between me and my opponent, or every game of a match. Simply because I've realized that I tend to finish shuffling before my opponent. And this is just another procedural step in me making sure that I have all of the cards I'm supposed to, especially after I've side decked. Just simply because I tend to forget. So I like to make sure that I have my deck shuffled, and I like to make sure that I have all the cards that that I started with. So if I have a 45 card deck, I like to make sure that I'm counting out 3 piles of 15, and then as before, just slide that in, take this pile, slide that in, and then if there's time where I'm still waiting for my opponent, I'll just kind of fiddle around with it, shuffling it like so until they present their deck to shuffle, to cut. So then before I give it to them to cut, I'll just do this, hand off. And most of the people I've been playing have just been doing either dead center or like top 15 or something like that. And that's how this deck is. Let's look at the top 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's my first opening hand. Here is the 6th card. And because Pot of Extravagance, go the next 2. So that seems relatively shuffled up. And then now let's look at the rest of the deck past the first few. Oh yeah, that looks pretty shuffled up. Like, I won't do that kind of shuffle for every time I do a card search, but between each game, I definitely will. And especially because I run 2 copies of Pot of Extravagance, I've made it more of a habit to shuffle up my extra deck a bit. So before the actual game, when I present that to them to split, or if I've just waited long enough, or right before we sit down to start the game, I won't touch my deck until time starts, just because I don't know if you're allowed to or not. So I'll do that a bit. And then if I'm doing for Pot of Extravagance, what I'll do is I'll do that little shuffle I did before. 3 piles of 5, as most other people do. Stack these 2 on top. Let that get through. Take this pile. Let that in. Just let it go. Then I'll hand it to my opponent. They can shuffle it however they want. So I'll do that. And then what I tend to do is I will ask them if they want me to do from the top or bottom, and if they want me to go straight, or if they want me to do every other card. So if they want me to go straight, then it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or if they want me to go from the bottom, you know, it's pull from the bottom. Or if they want me to do every other card, I'll say start with the top card or the second card. So if they have me start with the second card, under 1, under 2, under 3, under 4, under 5, under 6. Let's see the damage. Okay, so we got my Predaplant, Evandred, Libe, Dragoon, Sigma, and Shernui. So, see, I got hit pretty bad with that, but I also have some that I could work with. I got Vampire Sucker and all that. I still have my Super Poly targets, which is kind of cool. I still do have 1 Anaconda, but I don't have a second Dragoon because those things are expensive. And yeah, that's it. I just really wanted to show how I tend to shuffle my decks for matches, just because I do find it an important thing to make the game, you know, as fair as possible. And I just want to show how I do it. Obviously, everyone has their own ways, but I don't like piling, just because it tends to be, you know, make it possibly unfair. Coming up is my first ever remote duel tournament. I might do a local before I actually do the remote regional, but I am looking forward to it, and I will be coming out with a deck profile after every single one of those, as I finally tune and edit my deck to get it suited and ready for YCS in April in Charlotte, North Carolina, and then eventually all the other regionals that I'm planning on doing, and hopefully they have a WQC or Nationals, whatever they call it now, and I'll see how I do then. I might stick with a 60 card, or I might whittle it down to, you know, 40. Probably not. I've never been able to whittle down a 40 card deck in my life. So, yeah, other than that, roll for damage. Got 6 doubles. Alright, cool. That was my puppy. Bye.